Hi there, this is John Wilkinson again from History Made Easier. Now the topic of this presentation is one that, reading examiners' comments over the years, as a rule students don't deal with it very well, and I think I know why. It's easy to lose the focus on social divisions and focus too much on economic problems or political divisions as they played out, instead of looking at how parties sought to represent the interests of the working class, or else the middle class. Well, the good news is you can easily avoid that. Go to the end of the story. Who voted for the Nazis in large numbers? The conservative-minded farmers and the middle class. And who ultimately helped Hitler into power? The elite, led by von Papen. And there lies the approach you should take. Focus on class divisions. The working class on one hand, who, even if many voted for the Nazis, they overwhelmingly voted for the Social Democrats or the KPD. And the middle class liberals, who didn't. In fact, they feared them. And the elite, who hated them and worked to undermine them at every opportunity. Look at what they stood for. The Social Democrats were Democrats, but nevertheless they wanted to work for a socialist economy, one in which the people, through the state, were in control of. That is, one which was in the state's hands, not in private hands. What's more, they radically extended Bismarck's welfare state, creating a free and comprehensive welfare state to which everyone was entitled, including old age pensions, and after 1927, unemployment benefits. And they enshrined such rights in the Weimar Constitution as free speech and an end to censorship. They unashamedly represented the working class, and as such made enemies of the elite, and at best only ever had a very uneasy relationship with the middle class. Whereas the communists wanted nothing less than a second revolution that would put Germany in the hands of the working class. The Spartacists wanted all power transferred to the workers' and soldiers' councils that were being formed all over Germany. They wanted a workers' militia to replace the army, collectivization of large farms, the nationalization of major industry, and they wanted Germany to have close links with the Soviet Union. And in 1919 led an uprising to achieve that. While also in 1919 the Bavarian Soviet declared a class war with plans to form a Red Army from factory workers, to put factories under the control of their workers, and to seize the houses of the rich and give them to the homeless. Now, I know I've introduced political aims, but I'm emphasizing the class nature of those aims. And let's be clear, German communists were opposed to Weimar democracy too. So, let's consider the middle class. What did they stand for? They felt that what they had achieved in life had been the result of their own efforts. So, merit should be rewarded, and so inequality was inevitable. They were a successful part of the capitalist system, and so they felt private property should be defended at all costs. And capitalism can't prosper in chaos. It needed order. Clearly they would be threatened by communism and socialism, and they had been badly hit by the hyperinflation of 1923, for which, of course, blame the French, but also their own government for not standing up to them. If Weimar had had their wary support before, it lost it in 1923. They longed for the sense of order that Bismarck had given Germany, a time when they and Germany had prospered. And if we turn to the elite, and never forget that they remained in positions of power in the economy, in the civil service, the judiciary, and the army, they were never reconciled to Weimar democracy. There were those who would prefer a restoration of the monarchy, but if that proved impossible, a return to authoritarian government. We see this in the way they attacked the Republic in the Reichstag, the state parliaments, and in the press, which they mostly owned, in the myth of the stab in the back, the Freikorps, and the Cap Putsch of 1920. And yes, a lot of the ex-soldiers were working class, but life, and so history, is messy. We saw it when Ludendorff marched alongside Hitler in the Munich beer hall putsch of 1923, and in the lenient ruling of the trial of Hitler, Ludendorff and co., in Hindenburg's willingness to use Article 48, in the reaction of the elite to Weimar culture in its golden years, condemning it as immoral and demanding a return to traditional values. And you could bring in the churches here as social groups too. Right through to the period of presidential government and the way in which Hindenburg, Schleicher and von Papen destroyed Weimar before Hitler came to power. Yes, ultimately it was a result of economic factors, the Great Depression that led to a massive increase in the Nazi vote and to the inability of Weimar democracy to work out a solution, which only encouraged Hindenburg, Schleicher and von Papen to bypass the Reichstag. But those class divisions between working class, middle class and the old traditional elite was a constant feature of Weimar, and they undermined Weimar from its birth right through to the bitter end. So, the thing with a question on social divisions is to begin with a focus on class, and then dip into economic and political factors. But the word class should feature a lot in your answer. I do hope that was useful for you. Don't forget, if you think you might benefit from tutorials, you can get your parents to get in touch with me at historymadeeasier@gmail.com, and we'll see if we can work something out. But for now, thank you for listening, and the best of luck with your studies. Cheers.